Hello and welcome to Cross the Line. I like that.
It is Cross the Line.
Yes, Cross the Line. I'm your host, Ron Handy Sr., and I have, our normal people that we always get into some very interested and heated conversations about what's going on in our community. To my left we have the man, Mr. Richard Mouse Smith, who's always been out here on the front line fighting for everybody. And Omar Hassan L, you better speak to your grandkids.
Assalamu alaikum. Love y'all.
And understand that he's not only been out here for a long time, but he's dealt with the prison, he's dealt with the community. He's been doing this since, what, 60s?
70s.
70s. So anything he talks about, man, I'm ready to listen. So, Mouse, what you got going on today?
I got three things I want to start off with. One is God.
Always God first.
One is that we as black folks really done left God by himself. We can't do it without God. We have people that's trying to take everything from us. What Lord we got? We got people who want to kill us. We got people who want to do everything else. But we seem like we zombies and we seem like we confused. And we ain't getting ourselves together because we really haven't gave our soul back to God yet.
That's right.
It was a case that, two cases. One was a woman approached me at the store. She said, "I've seen you on TV," which they always do with us. And she said, "My child either go to a charter school or public school, but it was 80% white or 95% white." And she said, "My child father was 7 years old, another black young child was there, and three white boys. And they went to the playground. And the white boys told the kids, little white kids say, let's play the zoo. And said, your part is you're gonna be monkeys. So I want you to howl like a monkey, walk like a monkey, and put a rope around their neck. And we're gonna train you." So I asked the woman, "How do you find that out?" She said, "Because every night when my child comes from this school, I ask my child, what did they do?" And he started laughing, happy, and jump up there and say, "I played monkey." I said, "And what do you do?" I told him, "Don't do that no more and stuff." And then I said, "Did you talk to the school?" She said, "Yeah." I said some words which I don't think she did, okay? Not the right way.
Right.
I said, "Do you know what the 1964 Civil Rights Act say?" I said, "That was a hate crime." It was taught from the mother. The school should protect those kids, and we should not have to never go through being a monkey. The second thing is that I got on the job, and I basically got a bunch of young guys around me, 39 to 22 years old, and I told them the same story. I asked them what would they do, and they said, "Well, we would talk to the kids. Well, we do that." I asked them, I said, "Do you know the 1964 Civil Rights Act? Do you know your rights?" I said, "A lot of guys, you young guys Google in, you do this, you do that, you streamline, you do all that, but Google in the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Google in your rights, because you guys is going to get jammed up without rights." Now, the other thing, that phone call came to me, Omar, I don't know if you can speak about it or not. Not this one, it's another one. The guy who supposed to have been this terrible murder, ran to Maryland and killed this
Prince,
person,
yes.
killed that person, and his name is Prince, and came up here and killed this guy. My understanding is he was down by Harry Grace, the Elton community, all the way down that end, where it was real racist. He had got this job, and this guy was called nigger every time he came to his job. He had stuff in the locker. They talked about hurting him. He went to the boss 6 or 7 times. And he said, "Can you do something about it? Can you do something about it?" He was basically the only black in there, I think. And the Mexican came to him, and they were calling the Mexicans all kind of names. The Mexicans would come back and tell him, "You know what they saying to you? You know what they was doing? You know what they trying to do?" And I guess he broke. And then he came up here, and I hear some stories about the part up here that he was bullied. But I don't know. I can't speak about up here. I can speak about the racist part that basically got him started. The third thing that I want to talk about is they cannot find these guys guilty. All these guys they charge.
Yeah.
Because
16
you
indictments.
cannot have people snitch on each other and take it to court. Something need to be done, okay? But no evidence, no nothing. And then you got guys serving life and triple life. Whatever they do is not going to serve no purpose, whatever. But it's going to be a lot of money, like the papers say. It's going to almost break the state. We in trouble right now. But if they had listened to Sergeant Floyd, if they had did what they're supposed to do, they could deal with this. Now I'm going to leave it alone now because last time.
But let's look at, what the commission did that the governor had. They didn't get to how could this happen. They said because there was a lack of guards, they wasn't getting enough money.
That was excuses.
Right.
But 20 of people retired right after that. And from my observation, half of them was a part of the problem that led up to that. See, the newspaper and all of them, they're not talking about what led up to that. When you treat a person like an animal, what the hell you think how they gonna act like?
Right.
It just irks me to really try to comprehend that somebody from Delaware did this.
Yeah, but my concept, I understand where you come from. When you get a prisoner from California, when you get one from Arizona, when you get one from Rikers Island up in New York, Holmesboro in Philadelphia, you get a different prisoner, especially when they was hooked up in organized crime or something like that. The best thing that happened is two of them got the RICO Act.
Right.
And the RICO Act say 2 or more people, 3 or more people is organized conspiracy to organize.
Right.
Now, those guys who they bring in from different states and stuff got a different attitude when it comes to a prison because the prisoners are different. And our officers is not equipped or not trained, I don't think, to deal with those kind of prisoners and stuff.
Where you got a bunch of un-American and unpatriotic people running the institution, the first thing they did was got rid of the warden, right? He might be out of the system, but he's not there anymore.
But was he the problem?
The problem was the General Assembly. They cut off all the funds to correct these. Look, when you say you're a correctional institution, what the hell are you supposed to be doing? Correcting. But if you ain't correcting, then what's going to happen?
I got a question to pose both of you guys. At some point, somebody's going to sue the government because
They already being sued.
I know, because it's not. They weren't proactive. Nobody's ever been proactive in this system to put things in place to prevent what happened. Because people have been complaining for over 20 years about this, and they felt as though they didn't have a voice, so this was their last resort.
When Commissioner Phelps was called down to the Trade Center by Senator Bob Marshall and grilled about what could lead up to this. And he said what I said earlier, the lack of educational things. If you're a correctional institution, you're supposed to be having programs and et cetera that to correct the person's mind. For years, we've been saying that the state has a responsibility for recidivism.
Yeah.
Yes, the community has a stake, but this is another problem. And I think that we was at this meeting together. When the federal people was there, and when we say, you come in and take our statistics, you go get a federal grant, you make us write a grant, and then you tell me when we write it, it's not right, and then what do you do with the money? So this, and Bobby Marshall said after Commissioner Phelps had laid out the lack of proper training, when you go to a federal penitentiary and they find that you ain't got no education, they make you go to school.
Right.
Yes, they do.
Right?
Well, fast school used to do.
Fast
too,
school
make
used
you
to
go
do that
school.
too. That's right.
Yeah.
But in James T. Vaughn, they wasn't making them kids. J.J. Johnson, he went there and he said most of them kids that can read and write with comprehension was in the shoe. That's when the maximum security.
Right.
So on the outside, there's a bunch of kids, 10% of our population, who can't read and write past 6th grade.
And you know it's something, because I did a study one time and it showed that the 3rd to 5th grade level for black males read below grade level, struggle with reading comprehension, all that. When you look at the population of 18 to 24 that were in the prison, same numbers matched. So why didn't you just get the kids when they were young and work with that group instead of waiting for them to go to prison and talk about, oh, we need to do something for them?
Youth probation should have the tools, along with the religious community and people who care, when they first get in the system, to deal with them. If they need a halfway house, if they need a home place, if they need psychiatric
Right.
help, mental ill, if their parents ain't right, if whatever, they should have been dealt with. The money
Right.
should have been around them.
Yeah,
'cause
that's the
way.
rapid
The
services.
Delaware Center for Justice used to do that, but the state cut down back their money. Here's another issue that was brought up on a number of occasions. When a kid wrote a grievance against a guard about something, the judge of the grievance was another guard.
Right.
And that also led up to them being frustrated enough to pull off something like they did. Don't like the idea that the man was dead.
Right.
But at the same time, what was the root cause of that?
Yeah, but let me say this, and I'm trying to stay even across the board, okay? I'm a supervisor. I was a union president. I'm a supervisor. I supervise from 2 to 45, sometimes 60 people, 60 different personalities. I have a manager over top of me. I have a director over top of him. I have a CEO director over top of him. And if the warehouse I got is not paying, not clean, not dirty, if the guys I got have not been trained, can do anything they want, can say anything they want, out of control, leave when they want to, come when they want to, that means I haven't got the right training.
Right.
Okay? If you got officers there, have they really had the right training?
If you have a treatment coordinator who for 5 governors said that you can't rehabilitate an inmate, what the hell was this man's being a treatment coordinator for almost 40 years?
And you know, and I can only say this, you're right. But we as people,
Oh, yeah, we don't speak up.
we as God's people, the ones that went in there, whatever, we never used class action suits for nothing.
Right.
When the courts were with us, when the courts found everything we was doing was right, we never said we had people that was untrained, that was using racist concept, because you know for a fact, white folks hate mass murders, but they don't hate the ones underneath them.
Right.
Underneath them. But when you look at a prison that's 78% black or 80% black, and you got white guys saying they don't need training, that's again under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. That's racist to the heart.
Bobby Marshall, after listening to Commissioner Phelps at that Senate hearing, I had never heard of a Senate hearing being in Delaware, in Wilmington.
Yeah, we had some before.
You have? Okay,
Yes.
you correct me then. But when Commissioner Phelps got done talking about the issues that he found out was built up to this, Bobby Marshall said, and I quote, "Those things that you just mentioned go back to the 1970s."
Right.
But you're right. But when you get a Commissioner Phelps, when you get Chief Wesley, when you get all these black guys that get in charge, right? And they deal, because I deal with it, brother. I've been dealing with it for 4 years. When they dealing with all white guys that got different attitudes, different places from different towns, and they don't see black, don't know black, and they look at us, because we've been there. They look at us, and if we ain't supporting them, if we ain't talking to them, if we ain't saying the community with them, they can't make a move, because they can sit up. they can sit up and things happen to them that's out of their control. Next thing you know, they're leaving, or they can't say a word because they've been tampered with, because they made a decision on somebody who was family was close or somebody who had connections, and their hands is tied.
When Commissioner Watson was there, the Native American from Wyoming somewhere, he had a long range and short range committee. The minor girl was the spokesperson for the prison then, and we were making inroads into those issues that brought this thing to happen. When the General Assembly, now I'm going to beat up on the General Assembly, because when I talked to some of them kids down there, especially, and some of them guys as old as me that's been down there, they said all that was working, but the General Assembly kept cutting the budget to keep it going. So that's where our cry came up, that the state is responsible for recidivism. I remember when I got out of jail in 1967, the guard said, "I see you when you get back." I told him to hold his breath, right? And I ain't been back since. Them 5 days, them doors closing was enough for me. But if you got a correctional institution, again, I'm being redundant, then you're supposed to have a system set up, trained, like you said, but also the programs that go with it. They tell me now that if a kid goes to a GED program, he still won't get a degree for some unknown reason. Now, what the hell are you saying hell 3 times now? What is the devil? What is the devil? The reason why the guy or girl can go to the class but can't get their diploma? Federal government give you a diploma.
Yeah.
You're right, and I really think this is that when you got a system that's so broke, it says if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They're afraid to try something different.
If it's broke, it needs to be tore down, put back together.
But tearing it down?
I've heard this new warden has already made changes, like saying it's my way or the highway. He's got military background. And I think that he recognized that there's some issues with the staff outside of the training.
So what support do he have?
Well, the governor, whoever.
Yeah, but outside support do he have?
They're working on that, because you got to get, this I tell the kids when they call me up, it didn't start overnight, and you're not going to get it settled overnight.
Do you think that the commission that they have now and the people they have on it, Wolfie and Brother Muhammad, do you think they're going to be able to voice the voices of the people to make change?
I believe so, for this reason, that the governor who ran into this thing,
right. This was a bad break.
For him to do what he did, he got an ex-offender to be the head person who's written his PhD from the University of Delaware on criminal stuff and stuff, and then to have Muhammad being his co-chair.
Right.
I think those two and the rest of them that voted for them.
Right.
But I think, and I commend the governor, I haven't met him, I commend the governor for allowing that. He said, I want Darrell Chambers to be the chairperson.
Well, and then Jane Hubbardton, which was one of my presidents in Georgetown, now she resigned. She's on that commission. She was on that before, and they got together. They are together.
That's right.
They are talking.
Yes.
They got a philosophy between each of them that they will work together to make it better.
Because maybe 10 years ago, most of the people on that committee had never, ever even been in the institute. I think it was when Elder Ty got on there that a few of them went in there. But before then, none of them have ever even went in there. That's why the system was broke. Because the outside forces that would be governing over top of them.
It was no watchdog. You
That's good word.
You got to have a watchdog.
I'll say this: Elder Todd, they took advantage of. Elder Todd didn't have the support to do really what he wanted to do. Okay, and he talked to us a lot of times. You know, I like to have a meeting with me. But when you got board members that don't pay attention to the leader, you just will pack your stuff and go on about your business.
One of the things, Wolfie, Darrell said that I loved, was that we're going to take these meetings out of Dover,
right,
and take them to all the other 2 counties, so that community See, if they were really trying to do something, I'm talking about government now. If they were really trying to do something, years ago they would have had these meetings in the community that's affected by it the most.
But the other thing, getting down to it, is that I've been in politics
A long time.
since 1960, man. I was 10 years old. When Herman Holloway and them gave me $1.50, told me go here on some doors and put this away. But the other thing is that we take politics as our life, as what we breathe through. And politics is us as the people. And we allow both black and white to come in and be elected by us, and they do anything to us, okay?
Right.
And they never is upfront with us, or they never tell the truth to us. So, you know, if the church ain't giving to us, and the church don't know who's around them in the community they in, but they come there every Wednesday or Friday and they preach, but they don't know John Blow or in the back, and they never took the whole congregation and walked that community and saved the people who's gone to jail. If the politician only goes there every 4 years, every 2 years, or every that's
it.
2 and 4,
2 and 4,
okay, or 6 for the senators, okay, United States Senate. And they have not walked that community and knocked on these doors and stuff. Then you got people. Then you got people split. You got my grandson, my nephew, going to jail for no reason at all, and then you got the politicians saying we need to do something about it, and then you got the preacher saying I can't talk to them. I need Omar. Okay, God and Allah and Jesus Christ and everybody and Malcolm, Moses, they walked this community. They walked the bad community. They seen the prostitutes.
You know what, Mouse?
They seen all that.
Let's change the word. We always call it a bad community. Let's say underserved.
Underserved community, right.
It's an underserved
Right.
You hit
community.
it, because you must have been thinking with me. 'Cause look, you may cuss again. The problem is poverty.
Yes.
So what you lock up poverty?
Yeah.
That's what the hell they've been trying
But
to
they
do.
did-
Hell said 4 times. That's what they've been doing the last
Well,
40 years.
We're gonna get cuss jar for you right here. Get to the poor community. What they really doing? They did it in the '60s. They did it in the '50s. They did it in the '40s. They did it in slavery. They doing the same philosophy. We are white.
And we are right.
And we are right. We pick the ones we wanted to pick, and the ones we can say we trust, who's going to do our philosophy, and they're going to step on you and do what they want to do. To we, as black folks who love God, who believe in what Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, Moses, Malcolm, all them did, and face the truth that we got to be soldiers or angels for others,
Well,
we ain't going no place.
But let's identify these people, because we did that.
Right.
We did that on our last show. Me and Ron was together. We identified those people in the church. When the last brother I buried, supposed to be a Muslim, I told them female. I said, look, you don't.
Keith,
I forget which one it was. I done buried
a
so
couple of
many.
days ago.
No, I don't know with him.
Okay.
It was Bobby Times.
Kevin Holmes.
Bobby Times.
Bobby Dimes.
I said to them, why you waiting for the preacher to do something? Y'all have Mother's Day, Family Day, whatever day. Y'all can get together because it's y'all's babies. And everybody knows that the women, especially our black women, nobody turns them down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
When they organize themselves to do the right thing. Now, hold my point. When the church was the only entity that brought us to the 60s.
Right.
Brought us through.
Now, so this is one book that I brought at that time on another show. I said, where did we jump off the ship? Right? Where our educated people with resources, like us, resources to do something. When did we jump off the ship? Because back in the day, we would pool our resources together and keep the black Y open. The black Y ain't even run by black people no more.
Well, Larry
You know,
Smith, yeah.
so we need to. We ain't pulling our resources together.
But it goes back to, Mary, you said earlier, during segregation, we knew what it was, so we stayed together. That's why we had a Black Wall Street. That's why Wilmington's East Side was what it was. We had all these things in place because we took care of ourselves. We had the Wilmington School District where everybody took care of itself.
But keep on, cause
Yeah,
I'm just chiming in.
Oh yeah, and it's like now that we got segregated and people talk about it all the time.
You mean integrated?
We integrated, yeah, put it that way.
Yeah.
We lost our culture because we
Absolutely.
always have a
But we
culture.
also-
And our economics.
But we also did this. When we did integration,
Mhm.
the schools, the colleges, the black colleges, all that, everybody, they got smart. They came up with the master's degree, the PhD. I ain't knocking them there.
Right.
And they came up with the associate degree, and they became smart. But they got in the church.
They became book smart.
Yeah, but they,
That's
let
the
me finish,
biggest.
please. But
Okay,
let me finish.
go ahead.
They got in the church, okay, and the preacher started preaching to them. But the poor little child, the poor little grandmama, the poor little mother, the poor little son who needed help, they never look at that because the church became a secret business that it was after the big buck and after the educated person. So you sitting there, and if your clothes ain't right, they look at you like you're crazy. If you don't talk right, they're saying you're retarded, there's something wrong with you. If you look dirty, your skin look dirty, they say you haven't took a bath. They ain't incorporated what they used to do as pastors.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those pastors, when we came up, they didn't go to college. They came from either their own father or they came from somebody in the church who grabbed them as a youth
Yep.
and taught them the word, and they dealt with the poor.
And they was in the streets
yeah,
working.
then they had, look, you stayed on 6th and Madison and Jefferson stuff all your life. So you zone into the poor, troubled black person.
You know what's
Okay.
something? You talk about churches, and it's sad to say, we have a lot of churches in Wilmington, but most of the people who go to the churches don't live in that community.
We
But-
got
but-
more
but-
doggone doctor
but-
this, doctor
yeah, but
that,
when I
doctor
speak-
other. There shouldn't be
Yeah,
no
but when I
nothing.
speak, I'm speaking about the whole state.
Yeah, the university.
Okay, I'm speaking about the whole state.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about other places. I'm speaking about the tri-state because, you know, there's a difference that I can make 6 or 7 figures, and I don't have a degree, and they can make 3 or 4 or 5, 6 figures, some less, but they are more important than myself because they have a degree. When, like I say, you on 6 Madison, you at the boys club, you guys zooming in every day. The problem. But since you all don't have the degrees you're supposed to have, nobody's listening. Nobody wants to listen. That you know, you guys can solve the problem with the help of God.
Let's get groups like the Urban League and some other fraternities and stuff that I don't want to mention right now to analyze what are the pros and cons of us integrating into the dominant culture. 'Cause this was a
We
big.
lost.
This is the big. You doggone right.
We
you did.
lost.
You
We
doggone.
lost.
You doggone
We lost
right.
our
you did.
soul.
We
But
lost. Yeah.
First of all, we lost our religion. Then we lost our soul. And then it was just like the little story that they tell about when Moses went up to the mountain and they came back and 20,000
They was
whatever
having-
people
they was having
was
party.
making
Making
a
a calf,
gold and
making a
stuff.
calf.
We started making gold and
Yeah.
putting gold
There you
around
go.
our neck and
There you
getting
go.
Lexus and
There you
stuff.
go. There you
And
go.
we lost the struggle that Harry Tubman did with God and Jesus Christ to free folks, and what Martin Luther King did and what Malcolm did. We lost, man. We
And you know
we
the sad part
lost.
though, you know, with the Underground Railroad and Malcolm and Elijah and all the people, and they led a lot of people. There were some of us that didn't want to get led out of it. They was happy. You know what I'm saying? We're eating.
And still
And
some
what,
us.
and what,
It's
and
still
what did
some
they
us.
name them? The house who?
Yeah, that's right.
The house
Yeah, but-
Negro?
That's
But
right.
you know what? It's still some of us that won't take a stand. It's a lot of us that
That's
won't
right.
take a
Right.
stand.
That's right.
And if we're going to save our community from the devil, Donald Trump and his people, and the white racists and the nationalists and stuff like that, we only can beat them with Jesus Christ and God. We only can beat them with getting out there and educating the folks and telling them there's a place to come to, there's a village we can take them that will that will forgive them and give them love, which is God. We need to get out there and we need to touch folks and we need to bring folks in where we try and say, well, we got to email and we got to use the TV and we got to do this. You know, I hear folks right now, 2 stories right quick. Kevin Holmes
Right.
took signs on his back, caught the bus, went all down Middletown, all down Dover, all down state, all that. They gave him a couple $100, sometimes $1,000, but they wouldn't give him a job because they call him crazy. They say that he was troubled. They say that he was this. They say it was his. But every election time, Kevin
they
Holmes
needed
became important.
Yeah.
So Gordon gave him a job. So at the funeral, you heard me. I said, let me tell the truth. And some people say, Mouse, you bold. You real bold. I said, nah.
Hey, boy, that's
I
just
said,
telling the truth.
all y'all sitting here, you wouldn't give Kevin Holmes a job till he got 60 years old. And then you put him in a position, and I said, we need to clap for Gordon, you remember? I said, then he got a car. He was fake about getting the house.
Got married.
He had some houses. He had some insurance for his wife and stuff, and he became whole. But what they did, they called me. He called me and said, Mouse, I need to talk to you and others too. He said, they are putting me on blacktop, mixing cement, busting roads, okay? And they are doing everything. And I know it was true because the white boy at the store who was a part of that team made it clear we don't like Kevin Holmes because Gordon's in there, okay? And Kevin Holmes wound up dying in his sleep because they waited 20 to 30 years later to get that brother a job.
And you know what you said earlier when you was talking about it, how throughout history, anytime we have somebody that wants to speak up for our community or speak up for us, we always label them as crazy, troublemaker,
militant.
Can't
militant.
dress, don't take a bath, all that dirty teeth, rotten teeth, no haircut. We do everything to destroy our own. We do it too as black folks.
We do it, yeah.
We look at our own nasty looking, you know what I mean?
But let me say this, and I always say this. We inherited that. Give me a cough. We inherited that.
Yeah,
See,
that's what I want you tonight.
That's what I want. I'm fired up. I've been down south, you know,
okay.
and I seen people in the same situation,
Who
but
come together.
they come. That's, you know what I'm saying.
They come together.
We have integrated. They tore down. Some people don't like me saying this. I'm gonna say it anyway. They tore down Poplar Street Project A when we was little.
Yeah.
That was all our economic, social,
Stores,
political,
everything.
So now we have integrated. That's why I'm saying I keep interjecting this fact. We as a people need to analyze the pros and cons of integrating into this culture.
But you know what, Omar, you're right. You know what?
And the Urban League is good for that.
You're right.
So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
But God touched me in a little way to say that there's a way we can fill these churches up. On poor folks, on people that's hurting and stuff, the people that lost their souls. There's a way. Every time we go to the store or something, people tells us that. You know what I mean? There's a way we can touch people that they will start fighting for themselves.
Now,
Okay.
and this is what I believe one of the ways is, and this is the way the enemy uses us: feed them, and house them, and clothe them.
You know what that is? That's the 3 hierarchies in psychology. They teach you every human being needs food, shelter, and belonging.
Yeah.
And if you could take care of those 3 needs, they'd be okay.
That's when let me call them jokers. When these brothers come into our community in our stores, the ones of my faith, and I say, do you know how easy it is for you to come in this community? He said, yeah. And set up shop, yeah. You wouldn't let me come where you came from and go in your stores like that and set up. You need to Google Black Wall Street and see that we had in the 1920s after World War I, in over 100 cities in this country, we had control of everything. but we have let our leadership, like you said earlier,
Right.
lead us into this dominant culture. Big argument between Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass,
Douglass, yeah.
Malcolm and Dr. King, and the three missing chapters out of Malik Shabazz's autobiography is when the written part of it is Dr. King and Malcolm had agreed on an economic and social plan.
Yeah, but divorce and Thurman Marshall tried to kill Dr. King.
Yeah, because they was at
They
opposite
found
sides.
that Dr. King was bipolar. And his brother had tried to commit suicide, and Dr. King was suicidal. Okay, and they wrote a note. I got the book. It's in the book. I just ain't lying. Okay, I got it in print. It said they wrote a note say, "Won't you just go and jump off the roof and kill yourself?" Because then they has gone back then. The light-skinned Negro and
it's still here.
dark-skinned Negro.
Ain't nothing changed, especially here in Wilmington, Delaware. They
Prairie-
have brought people to this
black,
community.
The black Prairie woman and the heavy black woman.
they don't
the
even-
black Prairie woman traveled. The heavy black woman became the mammies and raised the white kids and stuff.
Ain't nothing changed. Al planned for he died. May Allah have mercy on him. He said this is a plantation community. That's what he said. And that little Caucasian lady, Susan something, the state senator, she said the Klan and them are still in Lower Delaware. So let's go back to the prison issue. If they still in Lower Delaware, where are they working at?
No,
They
they are.
all three
They
counties.
are not only in Lower Delaware.
all
They
three
are in
counties.
Ellesmere. They right back, right
they-
across
but-
the
but-
street.
but they-
all around now.
But they're more congested. In
Well-
Lower Delaware, when you've been there, seen the outhouses still in the
Well,
black
they ran
community.
me out of there. They was after me.
They black, but you know, I like that Mike the Hat. The guy Mike the Hat said.
The story I told you.
Mike the Hat
The
said.
hat say. This story I say. The hat. I took the hat down to Georgetown, and we were going to Crossroads, Cummins, something like that, where they used to take slaves and catch them and put them back in slavery or kill them. And we were going to a home department. It became nighttime. We went to a meeting and stuff in Seaford. So we was all back in this woods. So I told the hat, I said, Hat, you know this Ku Klux Klan territory. So the Hat is Italian, right? So the Hat said, man, get me home. He said, man, I'm scared. I said, you don't have to be scared. I hit this back road, right? He got the howl. He said, man, let me drive this car. He said,
let me get out of here.
he said, because you guys are black, they'll kill me quick because I look like I'm black too. You know, he was very upset.
Yeah.
But the Hat and all of them, God bless them. It's another little story I want to tell you. Some people came up to me and they worked in politics and stuff, and they got skillful. They're very skillful in their craft. You know what I mean? Very skillful.
The devil's always.
And they got jobs. Thought they had good jobs, and they got cut away from them by black folks, and no insurance, but everybody keep come up their face, trying to get them to do something, and I can't give their names, but guess what? Again, they destroying our young black folks. Okay.
Yes. Oh, it's got to be. Look, when I was down south this last trip, the same things are happening in the hood with the young kids. But then when I looked overseas in Europe and Africa and Asia, it's the same thing happening there. Because it's the work of Satan. Let's go back to God again. We started this. The work. This stuff is the work of Satan.
Satan, right.
You know what I mean? And he what God says in our book, He says He will tempt you away from doing what is right with poverty, with wealth. So we don't went from freedom, justice, and equality to black power to green power. And those of us who have the resources again to really do something about it in our institutions, you know, we're setting. We don't trust each other. I said at Bob's funeral. I said what's missing is what the world, Dionne Warwick. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
When you talk about trust, it's so funny. And I experienced it this week. You know, everybody knows about the website I'm developing to support black-owned businesses. And I seen a guy who had a business, and I just approached him. I said, yo, you mind, you know, if I took your picture and it's put you on the website, he gonna tell me, nah. I said, man, it don't cost you nothing. I'm just trying to increase your business. I got enough
You
business.
talking about the restaurant across the street?
No, it was somebody. And then I ran
Okay.
into another guy and I'm just trying to explain to him, no, I'm okay. And I'm looking at them like, yo, I'm not scamming you. Like, I'm really trying to do something to
Well,
help support you,
and
and you don't trust me.
And I went to 3 restaurants,
Mhm.
and the brother died. He was a beautiful brother down on DuPont Highway. And I asked him, I wanted to bring the restaurant owner on the show.
Okay.
The first thing he came out to me, I ain't got no money, man. I said, yeah, I asked you for any money.
Yeah, nobody.
You know what I mean? I didn't ask you for
We
no
just
money.
trying to help you
I
out.
come wanted to promote your business. But let me tell you this one. I cried. I'm still hurt about this. A certain person, I went to a certain person, and I told the person, I say, I'd like to talk to you. I need your support. I said, I'd like to get Jay Street's name put on that building.
Right.
I said, because I gave Jay Street all kind of hell
Yes.
when he first ran for county councilman. And I told Jay, he said, what are you talking about? I said, the people of Dunleavy need some help. I said, we had never had this. He said, what? I said, mine's a hell of a thing to lose. Feed the box. Okay. and I say, we need a library. Took me almost a year or 2 years to stay on Jay's case. You don't know how many cuss words with him I went through. So he went after it. So he presented to the city council. He got with JJ, he got with some folks, and I think Margaret, and he presented that became his life.
Right.
Okay. Then he ran around and he got Paul Clark to put some money into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then after Paul Clark and the council, I got to get Smiley and all them, and Billy William Baird, the county councilman. I got to give them credit because they went along with Jay putting the money in the budget and stuff. Then Tommy Gordon came over. Then Tommy Gordon put the top on the cake, the icing on the cake, and he made it happen. Jay got with May Jorman, different folks. Give credit to May.
Yes.
May worked
Rest in
hard
peace,
day
yeah.
and night. They gave her a room.
Yeah.
She deserved it. She deserved a little more. Bollock, Reverend Bollock was president of city council. He did his part. I give him credit. I give everybody credit. Smothers, I give Miss Smithers. I give her credit. I give.
She mentioned you too Saturday in the grand opening of the library.
Yeah.
She made sure you got your recognition.
Like, I don't need that guy. Got me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I asked the man, can he put Jay? And Jay was against this, by the way.
Sure, I'm sure he would.
Can he put Jay on that hill, his name? Because I wanted again to get Dunleavy everything put up $2 or $3 a piece, $5, and put a statue of Jay up there with a baby, with education book saying this is for your future and stuff. Okay, this guy told me he only do names for people who died.
Who did? That's the thing.
I said, what'd you say, man? I said, no, man, you can't say this. He said, that's what I do. I said, man, something's wrong with you.
Something wrong with the
Now,
country.
what I think happened is that I didn't mention the person's name at the funeral, okay? And I think he was getting me back. But he cannot, to me, it was a shot at Jay, okay? He could say, no, I just don't do that.
Right.
But
I disagree. Anything.
I disagree.
The
whatever.
community can do that. See, that's what I'm talking about again. With our own economic development, if we want whoever we want on there, we can put them on there. We got to stop asking these jokers that we know ain't going to do nothing for us to do something, whether they black or white. That's why I'm excited
well,
right now.
My understand is that some of the toughest guys in county council want to go along with this.
Right.
We can do it, okay? But the idea of you think somebody is with you and they steal the votes from the black community and they ain't really with us.
Yeah, the true colors come out.
The true colors come out. And I know that we talk about the brother on the library committee, how we gonna get them. We're just putting this stuff together. And let's give Tommy Gordon credit.
Oh, dear.
Because Tommy came and called me up and said, Mouse, say, I need your help. And he explained the situation. He said, somebody may try to put my name on it. Somebody may try to put the Biden's name on it. Somebody may try to put an unknown name on it.
Right.
But the truth is, Jay Street should go on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I bow back, and I want you to fight. I'm in the fight, and I want everybody else to fight to do that.
That community, that library belongs to that community, right?
Yeah.
So that community can put whoever's name they
And
want
guess
on
what?
there.
And that library is going to stay for that community as long as I'm in that community. It ain't.
And it's good. But it brings me to this question, and I said this before when they was running for election. The Democratic Party takes us for granted, right? And this book I got, Solution for Black Americans, it says, are we the mistress of the Democratic Party? You know, you come every now and then? Because, like you said earlier, they come and get our votes. Like I said about they come and take our statistics and go back and get federal grants. And then when we write a grant, they tell us that it's not right, but you should help. That meeting I was there, I told them, if you know that all these years, then you should have somebody on your staff to help us make it
I was
right.
vice chairman of the Women's Committee. I also was a chairman of the Seventh and stuff. And I know they have a platform committee. And I think I messed up. I did it twice in my life. I did it with the union by not getting no retirement insurance. And I cry every day for that, and I suffer for that. But I think I really messed up on this one. They put me on the Civil Rights Committee. And on the platform committee, they make the platform for the next 4 years,
Right.
2 years, or whatever. And this is the bills they take down Dover, and they get passed and stuff. I wouldn't go on the committee. But right now, on my next concept, I'm gonna have a meeting, and once I have a meeting with some folks, then I'm gonna tell you that black folks ain't gonna get help again, or they can help them, because I'm gonna put something on the table saying that you cannot leave us out of the platform committee with the Democrats. Now, it's a 10-to-1 chance that the Republicans may take over the Senate.
Right.
Okay? Now, some blacks need to go to the Republicans, some not crazy blacks, okay, the ones that Trump
what's
got
going
around
on,
here,
yeah.
but some common conservative blacks, DuPont style, or the other governor, what's his name?
Who?
The tall one that was government congressman after DuPont.
Okay.
Okay, that kind, and say, I want to put this on the platform committee. Okay, and then we can work from there. But at the end of the day, there's a group of people called me, okay, and they want me to be part of a national group called the Coalition to Save Our Country and State. Let's take it back, okay? And I'm gonna talk to them and stuff like that, because we need to take our state back, and we need to take our country back.
I really
We
thought,
can't have the downstate Republicans, Georgetown and
Running.
Rehoboth Beach, all that, taking us out.
then we got to look at, if the Democratic Party, city Democratic Party is in shambles, then the Democrat,
We are the party.
we need, they need, those that can stick together need to come together and bring these issues up and stop calling them civil rights. It's human rights. Get me cuss again. It's human
Go on
rights.
and get it out, man.
You
Just
know,
say the cuss word.
it ain't civil rights. They have stomped all on it, peed on it, and everything else. But human rights. See, this is why I'm saying that America's problem is, the problem with America is unpatriotic and constitutionally based, because the Constitution of this country, and I told this to somebody, and I gotta let y'all hear, W.E.D. Du Bois's CD, The Arrogance of U.S. Capitalism. He prophesied everything that's happening right now. I got Roof, I'm gonna give you one. I got it made. But he prophesied this, and when I heard, I said, well, if he saw that in 1962, there's something that we can do in 2017
Yeah, but you know
to
what?
combat some
all
of this crap.
All three of them prophesied that. All four of them. You got to put Jesse in here a little bit too. All four of them. Divorce, Malcolm, Martin, Jesse. You know, they prophesize corporations, what they do, and everything like that. You know, they got this tax going to come, and
It's not gonna
you
help
won't believe that Out of this $4,000 you talk about, you get $48.38 a month. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's the tax break.
Well, you got 1 minute, Omar Hassan L.
I don't know, man.
I can say I love you, brother.
I love you too.
And, you know, 'cause we got God. I really
we
can say
got we
that.
got people out there that
And
don't think
anything
we
I
love
ever
each
did
other.
for you, I forgive.
Yeah, and I do the same thing,
Yes.
man. Yeah. But I said this somewhere, but the love that we used to have for one another, we got to teach these children, and that's why people say, "Well, you and Mouse be arguing on the show." I say, I want to show people that we love each other, even though we differ with each other.
Yeah.
Don't make no freaking difference. All God's people are different at one time. As long as we hit the mark of trying to save our babies. That's the most important thing to me. And I got 24 grandchildren and 14 grandchildren and umpteen community grandchildren
Yes.
and et cetera, like you do. People come
I
up
don't
every
have
day.
no grandkids. Really, I don't.
Okay, where they come
Yeah,
up to
they
me.
do.
I got.
All the ones in the street look up to
Oh, but
you.
yeah,
They my
that's what I'm
grandkids.
talking about.
The
That's
guys
it. That's
at the job, the young
that's
guys
all
at
them
the
young guys
job.
on the job.
Yeah.
That's the ones that call me OG. I don't like that, but I know what it
Man,
means now.
embrace it.
Yeah, I know what it means now. I know what it
I
means.
got sweaters that got OG on.
Okay, I just wanna
Take that, 'cause when they call you that, that's a trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want us to recognize that we have to learn how to love each other, even though we differ with each other, and we have to stop trying to kill each other just because we differ with each other. And we got to teach these young kids that. And whatever I can do, whatever we can do, we need some mentoring, on the street mentoring, and that's what I've been trying to do this past
What you
summer.
I can say just real quick. My target is going to be twofold. It's going to be youth and get them to go, and the seniors. The seniors been left out there.
That's
They
right.
don't
Yes.
do enough for them. They don't talk to them. They don't help them. They don't do nothing. So if we got to take some more time, like I told a young
Right.
lady today, and give to a youth
We
and
can
give
do
to
that.
seniors, let's do that. Let's get the movement started.
Okay, we just want everybody to know at some point we have to trust one another, because if we don't trust one another, the things that's going on in this community are going to continue to go on in this community. And what we also need to do is everybody's out there, snatch up a young person and start teaching them the way, because what's going to happen one day, all this wealth of knowledge that around you is going to pass on one day, and we really going to be in a very negative situation. So 2 weeks. Peace.
But let me say this right quick. I forgive everybody that I ever did anything to. And it's all about love and Jesus Christ now. So I hope you forgive me.
There you go.
Peace.
Peace.